Hello, this is Brahim Talasi, the Orthodox Catholic One here on YouTube, and today's video will be about the 113th chapter of the Quran, which is one of the shortest surahs of the Quran. It's called Surat al-Falaq, which means the Daybreak Surah. And we're going to be reading here off of Quran.com/113. This is the Sahih International Version, and it's only about 5 verses long. And it says the following: Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of Daybreak, from the evil of that which he created, and from the evil of darkness when it settles, and from the evil of the blowers in knots, and from the evil of an envier when he envies. Now, what does this blower in the knots mean? Well, we have other translations of the Quran. For instance, let's pull up some right here. We have Pickthall. We have Pickthall, which translates as malignant witchcraft. You have Yusuf Ali, who says practice secret arts. Muhammad Sarwar, practice witchcraft, and the evil of the witchcrafts when they blow in knots. So it generally means witchcraft, according to most of the commentators, a lot of translations. In fact, if you go to qtafsir.com for the commentary on this, which is Quran Tafsir Ibn Kathir, and to find that, you just go to Surah 113, and then I think you hit 5 or verse 4. Anyway, it takes you down here, and they quote the surah, of course, the specific verse, and it says, and from the evil of the wars and knots, and then it has these several sources, several commentators, Al-Hassan, and so on. It says, this means the witches. Mujahid said, when they perform their spells and blow into the knots. In another hadith, it has been reported that Jibril came to the Prophet and said, are you suffering from any ailment, O Muhammad? The Prophet replied, yes. So Jibril, in the name of Allah, I recite prayer over you from every illness that harms you, from the evil of every envious person and evil eye. May Allah cure you. Going on, it says, talking about the bewitchment of the Prophet, that's what they call it, this Muslim site calls it. It says, in the book of medicine of the Sahih al Bukari records that Aisha said, the messenger of Allah was bewitched until he thought he had relations with his wives, but he had not had relations with them. Sufyan said, this is the worst form of magic when it reaches this stage. So the Prophet said, anyway, he's going to quote the source, and rather than quote it from here, I'm going to go to the Sahih al Bukari website, and I'm going to show it to you right here. And this is in volume 7. This is on Sahih-Bukhari.com pages /Bukhari_7_71. Anyway, to get there, you just go to volume 7, you hit medicine, and then you find this one. You go to number 580. No, it's not 582, but it's going to be under, I think it's 660. But it's going to be right here. It's going to be around 660, as I mentioned, narrated by Aisha, then 661, which pretty much says the same thing. But anyway, this is this version of it, narrated by Aisha. This is Sahih al Bukhari. It says magic was worked upon Allah's apostles so that he used to think he had sexual relations with his wives. Let me blow this up a little. With his wives, while he actually had not. Sufyan said, this is the hardest kind of magic as it has such an effect. Then one day he said, O Aisha, do you know that Allah has instructed me concerning the matter I asked him about? 2 men came to me, and one of them sat near my head, and the other sat near my feet. The one near my head asked the other, what is wrong with this man? The latter replied, he is under the effect of magic. The first one asked, who has worked magic on him? The other replied, Labid bin Al-A'sam, a man from Bani Zuraiq, who was an ally of the Jews and was a hypocrite. Of course, you got to work the Jews in here with the magician. The first one asked, what material did he use? The other replied, a comb and a stick and a hair stuck to it. The first one asked, where is that? The other replied, in a skin of pollen of a male date palm tree kept under a stone in the well of Dharwan. So the Prophet went to that well and took out those things and said, that was the well which was shown to me in a dream. Its waters looked like the infusion of henna leaves, and its date palm trees looked like the heads of devils. The Prophet added, then that thing was taken out. I said to the Prophet, why do you not treat yourself with Nashra? He said, Allah has cured me. I dislike to let evil spread among my people. So that's one version of it. Now, the problem I have with this, okay, let's assume magic's real. So why would God's own prophet, handpicked prophet, his own apostle, be under the effects of magic? For instance, in the New Testament, you never see Christians being harmed by magic, particularly the apostles, Jesus especially. Whenever you see Jesus dealing with anything like witchcraft or anything, he just casts out the demons, sends them off. He cures the sick. Even the Apostle Paul, which Muslims generally do not like, you see a story of him encountering a magician who says he was also Jewish. He was a false prophet named Bar Jesus, who was an attendant of the proconsul Sergius Paulus, the proconsul, an intelligent man sent for Barnabas and Saul, who's also called Paul, because he wanted to hear the word of God. But Elymas, the sorcerer, for that is what his name means, opposed them and tried to turn the proconsul from the faith. Then Saul, who was called Paul, filled with the Holy Spirit, looked straight at Elymas and said, You are a child of the devil and an enemy of everything that is right. By the way, when it says you're filled with the Holy Spirit, that's God in Christian understanding. So anyway, it says he's a child of the devil. You are full of all kinds of deceit and trickery. You will never stop perverting. Will you never stop perverting the right ways of the Lord? Now the hand of the Lord is against you. You are going to be blind for a time, not even able to see the light of day. Immediately mist and darkness came over him, and he groped about, seeking someone to lead him by hand. Then it said the proconsul saw this happen, and he essentially was amazed at the teaching about the Lord. So this is what happens when Paul dealt with a person that was a magician. He made him blind, but Muhammad, I don't know, I guess he just falls into it. He falls under the spell. But it's interesting that there's actually, Muhammad knows how to prevent this. And how come this happens? Well, you just go just later in this, and you have a narration. And this is volume 7 again, book 71, number 663, narrated by Saud, and the explanation is given why Muhammad probably fell under this. This is the Prophet said, if someone takes some ajwa dates every morning, he will not be affected by poison or magic on that day till night. And then you see the same thing mentioned again. But anyway, so the problem with Muhammad was he wasn't eating his dates every morning like he prescribed. Another narrator says 7 dates, but he wasn't eating his dates. So you can go on Google and find all these dates for sale, so as to prevent being harmed by magic. But that was Muhammad's problem. He wasn't eating his dates. Perhaps all the other prophets in the Bible, they were eating their dates, and so they weren't affected by magic. You would expect him to say something, well, you have to pray this prayer or be very pious, but it's nope, it's eat your dates. And also some have this in the context of fasting, but seriously, you'd think maybe prayer would have a bigger role than eating dates every morning to prevent magic spells from harming you. But I don't know, that seems strange. And my real problem with this is that, okay, not only why is this in the Quran, maybe somebody could explain why is this whole thing in the Quran about Muhammad being tricked into thinking he had sex with his wives and being under the spell of essentially voodoo. But the real thing is if Muhammad could be tricked about something so silly as into thinking he had sex with his wives when he had not, why should we believe him on greater matters about spirituality, salvation, his doctrines about God and Jesus and so on? Why should he be considered reliable on these much greater things if he's completely unreliable in the sense that he can fall under essentially black magic? So why should we give any trust or credence to Muhammad if he could just be harmed so easily and so ridiculously by witches? But anyway, this is Brahim Selassie, the Orthodox Catholic One, here on YouTube.